Hello, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Oh my gosh, we have some really interesting new details in the mysterious disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Today, we're going to be talking about why the RCMP is so suspicious of Daniel Martell. We're going to talk about inconsistencies between Daniel Martell and Malaya. Malaya is speaking out. So please come on in. If Tell me where you're from. You can tell me what city, what state, what country, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Like, share, leave a comment, and know that everything I'm sharing is my opinion. This video is for educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. It's for adults only. And also, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. No one has been charged or indicted in this crime. So come on in and tell me where you're from. You can tell me what city, what province, what state, whatever, what country, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But it turns out that Daniel Martell was interrogated by the RCMP. Let me just pull this up. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let me just grab this. Daniel is definitely, has a lot to say.
That everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened.
Okay. So what happened? What's going on in this case? Why do we have the sudden change in events? So it turns out that Daniel Martell was interrogated by the RCMP. How do we know? Well, he told us. He called into Daniel's show over on the Drunk Turkey show, and according to Daniel Martell, the RCMP are telling him that the pink blanket was planted. And this is something that a lot of you guys have been suspicious of for a while. So this is something that, shout out to you guys that you guys have been suspicious of for a while. So I think that's very, very interesting. I do think it's telling. Let's keep going. So it turns out that Daniel Martell was interrogated by the RCMP. Then we've got some information on Dane Paulson, right? Do you remember the little missing boy, Dane, who disappeared out of Oregon? Well, his dad just got charged. Even though he drowned, he got charged for neglect. So a lot of people are wondering, should Daniel and Malaya be charged too? So we also have Malaya speaking out. Why is she speaking out now? Well, it's because I believe yesterday was Jack's birthday. So here's what she had to say. Let me pull this up, and then we're going to deep dive into Daniel Martell and the blanket. Let's just call it Blanket Gate. Let's just call it Blanket Gate. We're going to just deep dive into that, but I just do want to read Malaya's statement, and then we're going to talk about Daniel Martell and Blanket Gate. But Malaya moved out. She was very suspicious of Daniel right out of the gate. She broke up with him. She changed her Facebook. So here we go. This is her. Just trying to move myself here out of the way. All right, so this is Malaya, and she says that she has a Find Lilly and Jack Sullivan page. She says, as a mother, I love my children more than life itself, and I feel so heartbroken not being able to hold my two children, Lilly and Jack, kiss them and breathe in their scent, or tuck them into bed, dress them, wake up to their sweet, smiling faces. The longing I have for them to come back home to me is a greater feeling than I could ever imagine feeling or putting into words how I am feeling. There is not one single day, minute, or second that goes by that I'm not thinking about my children. I walk into a store and all I can see are things that they love, that I want to get for them when they come home, the candy they like, the clothes they wear, the toys they love. And all I see is them. I just so desperately want them home safe and sound, back into my arms where I will never let them go. I am truly traumatized not being able to hear the sweet sound of their voices, their laugh when they would sing a Gabby's Dollhouse song. That only makes me cry when I hear it, because all I hear is Lily and Jack singing along. Not being able to breathe in their scent when I embrace them tightly. I don't want these moments to be memories. I want my babies home. My Lily, May, and Jackie. The pure pain I suffer is just not knowing where they are has impacted my life and and my family in the most devastating way. Life feels extremely hard to keep going with no answers. It's just pure lostness, like I can no longer feel at home anymore. No matter how lost I feel, I have not given up hope that my children will be returned safe to me and sound. I have all of the faith and hope I will see them again. Please, anyone with any information, no matter how small, please come forward. Please do not be afraid to use your voice to help bring Lily and Jack home. Even the smallest details are crucial. I'm so incredibly grateful and thankful to all of the ongoing efforts of the RCMP, Major Crimes Search and Rescue, and Please Bring Me Home, and the RCMP Major Crime Unit and Please Bring Me Home will continue to investigate, and they need your help. You can share tips anonymously at pleasebringmehome.com or contact the Royal Canadian Mounted Police directly. I will never stop searching for my children until they are found and brought home safe and sound. Someone somewhere knows something, so please bring my babies home. To the incredible volunteers, searchers, investigators, and compassionate strangers who have stood beside us, thank you. Your tireless dedication, your prayers, your time spent combing through woods and yards, sharing photos, and refusing to give up. You and the hope of my children will be home, and my youngest daughter are the reason that I hold strength and keep going. You've shown me that love, kindness, and compassion still shine, even in the darkest times. Everything you've done has not gone unnoticed. Thank you with the deepest gratitude, Malia Brooks Murray. So this is published by Please Bring Me Home, and these are pictures of her with, I believe this is Lily, and I believe this is Jack. So that is a statement from the mom. We have been waiting for her to come and say something about this case. So I do think it's a good sign, but I do want to talk about Daniel Martell and Blanket Gate. So let's go through this. Let me grab this. Let's go through this together, because I think this is significant, and I think that this is the key. I want to give all credit to this to Hunter S. True Crime, who put this together. Kudos to you. You did a great job, and I hope you guys will sub up to Hunter. So we're going to do, I am going to be reacting to this video.
Yeah.
It says the RCMP were at Jack and Lily's residence on May 2nd, 2025, around 4 p.m. when Malea's stepsister Haley, stepbrother Hayden, and his girlfriend came out of the woods to say they found a pink blanket in the woods on a tree in Lansdowne Station. This is according to the RCMP. And this pink blanket is critical, because this is what the RCMP believed Daniel Martell, according to his own statement, is lying about.
Yeah, so just touching on the subject of the blanket, I've kept pretty quiet. I have a son of my own, right? Lily and Jack are my niece and nephew.
If you see some little black parts, that's just part of the video. That's not me blocking that out, okay? Let me speed this up some too.
Yeah, so just touching on the subject of the blanket, I've kept pretty quiet. I have a son of my own, right? Lily and Jack are my niece and nephew. But yeah, the subject of the blanket, it was found on a tree branch on Lansdowne Station Road in the evening of day 1.
Okay, so you can see here that this, Hunters has done such a great job with this. Ribbons mark the location where the piece of pink blanket was found.
It was used, or the other part of the blanket was used for a window or a door at the home, and it was thrown out, and this one just ended up on a tree, I guess.
Okay, so this is Malea's sister speaking out. Malea talked about Lily's LOL doll blanket and provided the following information. Lilly had a LOL doll blanket that she sometimes dragged around with her. It was her blanket she used for sleeping before she got an actual bed set. And this is personal, that was blocked out by the content creator. And if she didn't want it anymore, so Daniel used it to stop the draft from the door that wasn't properly installed. Malaya took the blanket from the door because the weather was getting nicer about a week before, and she threw it in the garbage. Malaya threw it in the garbage. There was already a piece missing from it when she did that because Daniel ripped it off when he put it up.
But yeah.
Interesting. And so you guys, I understand one of you took a photograph of the blanket and took it back to Malaya for identification.
So this is from A Crime and Shame. This is the photograph. They showed a picture to Malaya and Daniel, who confirmed the blanket belonged to Lilly.
Yes, Hayden and I did. Yeah.
Okay. And then
it says here, Hayden said the blanket was hanging 3 to 3.5 feet off the ground and hung up like a bath towel. So you can see it here. He described it as a pink, fuzzy, girly blanket, according to the RCMP report.
she said, yeah, it is. And so you called the police, who went and, I guess, collected it?
Yeah, no, the police were already down searching that area, but it was in such an open spot that cops were already down there. And
So I want to read through, I want to listen to what she's saying, but I also want to read through what's being posted here. Hayden said, this is according to the RCMP report, because this content creator has put everything together. Please sub up to them. Hayden said that they went right back and got the police officers who came to look at it. The canine unit came and took the dog up the trail.
wasn't seen earlier on. So it's just all a little mysterious, you know?
So this is from Daniel's show, the Drunk Turkey Show, recently released a video. This is all part of the same content creator, Daniel Martell, showing the location of the ripped.
And this is where the blanket was found. You can clearly see it was visible from the road. It's like 15 feet from the road. Maybe not even. Yeah, a little more than 15 feet.
So you will recall that Daniel told us in the last interview that he gave to the CBC that he said that they didn't believe him about his timeline of events on Thursday. And now we're learning that Daniel Martell was brought in for another interrogation. This is according to Daniel Martell about this pink blanket. So we're going to call this Blanket Gate.
And this is the exact branch. So way higher than 5 feet in the air. It's actually over my head, so it's already 6 feet. That one right there. It's draped over that branch.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So was search and rescue in that area?
I don't believe on day one, right down there right away. So I was there from the get-go of when everything started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know how it was missed because it was right on like the start of like a logging road or ATV trail right by the main Lansdowne Station Road, the dirt road. But yeah.
At 4 is when they found the pink blanket that was Lily's. That was a portion of the blanket, correct?
Yeah. I'm not sure on the exact time on that either. It would have to be after 4 because the school bus goes up there around 4 o'clock.
Gotcha. And
Because that school bus, it goes up and it actually goes up and turns at my Uncle Ron's house, which is about 500 feet past where the blanket was found.
gotcha.
So, and the bus usually goes up there, and the bus usually makes its way up there around, I don't know, 3:55, between 3:55 and like 4 o'clock.
And this bus has cameras, correct?
Yeah, the buses do have cameras. When they looked at the footage from the outside of the buses, the blanket was not there.
Okay, so the bus has cameras. So at 4 o'clock, when they looked at the footage from outside the buses, the blanket wasn't there. So it was put there after. Was it?
Interesting. And it went both directions, correct? It went,
Yeah, they both go both directions and multiple buses.
and it was not seen at 3:55, 4 o'clock when the bus passed.
No, they said they did not see it on any camera footage from the buses.
So he is getting interrogated now.
Okay, all right. And the other half, right, was found in the garbage.
I believe so. I wasn't back at the house for that.
Okay, so this is from the RCMP report. And this is the other part of the blanket was seized from Malaya and Daniel's house by Corporal Rice on May 4th of 2025 at May 4th, 2025 at 9:09 p.m. It was located inside a trash bag at the end of the driveway. This is according to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police report. All right.
To know that, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what Logan said. And yeah, so
Which is really peculiar, right? Like, how, if the blanket was put in the garbage, how did it get out of the garbage and half of it get into a tree, right?
and I mean quite a ways down the road, like down the paved road from where they lived, up a dirt road, a good at least a mile or two. So yeah.
So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police confirmed that a piece of blanket was found in the tree, was exactly 1 kilometer from Jack and Lily's residence.
Tree, right?
And I mean quite a ways down the road, like down the paved road from where they lived, up a dirt road, a good at least a mile or two. So yeah.
In fact, he says he's tried to help.
So I'm not buying that Lily and Jack threw that blanket in the tree, you guys. But here's a better shot of the proximity of blanket and the proximity to the road. And that's like a little road. The ATV could zip up and down.
Like early in the investigation when police found a scrap of blanket on a nearby road.
I called it into RCMP when I realized there was a piece of a pink blanket found.
Okay. So CST Cagnon and CST Mason drove Hayden, and Hayden's girlfriend back to the location where they saw the pink blanket. CST Kagan seized the blanket. Corporal Martins and his police dog were called to the area. He took photographs of the blanket. He walked for about 1 kilometer in the area with his dog on an adjacent trail. They did not pick up a scent to complete a track. And I don't believe Lily would have just thrown her blanket up there like that, in my opinion. But let's continue on.
The rest was here in Martell's trash bin. That blanket, one of the only clues as to what happened to 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan.
A piece of blanket was also seized from a garbage bin at the end of the family's driveway. Martell says it was the same blanket, but it had been ripped apart and thrown out.
I mean, it's mysterious as it is because the distance from the garbage bin to where the blanket was found is almost 1 kilometer.
I was actually told there was a piece of a pink blanket that was found up the road in a tree. And I said, piece of a pink blanket. Like, and I put 2 and 2 together. I ran out to the garbage bin and I seen that there was a hole ripped in the bag. And clearly there was somebody who went into the garbage or something went on with the garbage for a piece of that to be ripped out. Because usually when you look in the garbage bin, Daniel, and you see a garbage bag, usually it doesn't have a hand-sized hole ripped in the side of it.
That's interesting. Now,
A hand-sized hole. Okay.
the pink blanket, when they told you about it, did they show you a picture? The
Piece of the blanket? No.
No. Okay,
No.
so they just told you they found a piece, and you went to the garbage bin. And
Yeah.
where in the garbage bin was the bag that had the other part of the blanket? Was it towards the
Okay,
top, in the middle,
there
the
was-
bottom?
These were like large industrial-sized garbage bags, right?
Okay.
And Mom would always yell at me, don't put so much garbage in one bag, because I would always make the bags like really heavy, right?
Okay.
And
So the question is, did he fill it and take this one out? Who put the garbage bag into the garbage bin? Why couldn't they pick up any scent for Lily and Jack around that pink blanket? Was that just put up to distract? So we're going to call this blanket gate.
so I had the blanket was in a garbage bag, but there was another garbage bag that was inside, right? So it was like double bagged.
Interesting.
And you could see I keep wanting to say a hole that was ripped in the side from a hand that went down inside of it and pulled something out, but it looked to be like somebody put their hand in there and ripped it out. But the bag, the blanket was still at the bottom of the bag, right? It wasn't pulled all the way out. It wasn't anything like that.
The blanket was still at the bottom of the bag. Not at the bottom of the bag, was still at the bottom of the bag. Like it was still there. Think back to the interview that he did where he was 100% certain that Lilly and Jack wouldn't be found on his property.
So
Was the trash bag in the bottom of the can or on top of like all the other trash?
I was the garbage bag, that one big garbage bag, that was like a 60-pound garbage bag. And it was just, that was the only bag that was in there.
Oh, okay. So there wasn't any other trash on top.
No,
of it.
there was nothing else on piled on top of it or underneath it.
So if somebody opened the bin, that's the first thing that they would see.
Yeah, they would be able to see the pink blanket in there. Yeah.
Okay. And so it seems like in the documents that it alludes that they showed you guys a picture and that you guys confirmed it. Was that, if you didn't see a picture, do you know if Malaya did?
I'm not sure if she did or not. I have no idea.
Another key thing that came out in the documents is this pink blanket that, has come up in other stories we've reported on. And the key thing about this pink blanket is that it was found a kilometer from the trailer where Jack and Lilly disappeared from, and it's perhaps the only physical clue in the case. So what's interesting is that Malaya's sister found this blanket along with 2 other family members the day the children were reported missing in the afternoon. And Daniel originally said that blanket was not Lily's. Malaya said the blanket was Lily's.
So why was he saying it wasn't Lily's? So let's go through the property seized. Was there another blanket found? Piece of blanket seized in the wooded area at Lansdowne. Blanket seized from the garbage bin at Daniel Martell's residence. Ident impression castings taken from a wooden area in Lansdowne. Scat, unknown if human or animal, taken from a wooded area in Lansdowne. 2 children's toothbrushes taken from the Daniel Martell residence. And then sock and piece of purple fabric taken from the wooded area in Lansdowne. So was there another blanket found? I don't think so.
Then Daniel suggested that the people who found the blanket planted it. So I spoke with Malaya's sister, Haley Ferdinand, who found the blanket, and she denies having planted anything.
We most certainly did not. And that's on everything I have, the person I am. I would not do that in the midst of to obstruct a case for missing children, regardless if they're related to me or not. I would never. So
why do you think Daniel is suggesting that you planted it? He told that to me as well.
Probably because I was the one that was hot on his ass the whole time we were there.
Yeah, why is he blaming this on her? She wasn't at the house the night before. So what motive? Is this deflect and distract? Throw somebody else under the bus? Because I don't think she planted it either.
Okay.
And he didn't like me from the get-go when I got there because he would not speak to any of Malaya's family when we showed up to help the search with Lilly and Jack.
Why wasn't he speaking to Malaya's family when they were helping?
And Malaya didn't leave Saturday morning. It was Saturday evening because an altercation had broken out and Daniel's mother actually tried to attack me. So it was well after supper Saturday when she actually left the premises.
So this is Malaya's stepsister, Haley, on the channel Hidden in the Fog.
I do just want to touch on a subject, though.
Absolutely.
The family altercation that happened in the driveway. I was there for that. So there's a big piece that Logan has left out, and I'm ready to share that because we all know and have not said anything. But it's a very crucial point that they seem to be skipping over. So this was just before the briefing, if I can remember quite right here. We were all in the house and Dan was in the bathroom. And when I say we, I'm talking about my sister-in-law, her sister, Malaya's mother, my partner, and we were all in the kitchen and we heard like things rustling around in the bathroom. We're like, what the hell? So my stepmom went and knocked on the door and was like, Dan, what's going on? Are you all right? Anyway, my sister-in-law went in and said she needed to use the bathroom. So he came out. So like he was rustling some things around in the bathroom. And we went in to kind of investigate after him. And there was drugs. Drugs was involved. And that's what fueled the family altercation in the driveway. And I'll be the one to say that because I got so freaking mad after this was found out, because then I said to him, I said, that's exactly why you're acting the way you are, running around like a...
That's exactly why you're acting the way you are, running around like a madman, acting like you're doing everything and everybody's just sitting back relaxing.
Madman, acting like you're doing everything and everybody's just sitting back like relaxing. Like nobody was, but nobody was running around like a chicken with their head cut off because we weren't on drugs. Do you know what I mean? But that's what the altercation was, because I was like, I confronted his family. It was actually me. And I said, what the hell, guys? Like, what's going on here? Like, why is that involved? My sister broke down and she admitted that he's been on it for 2 years or so. And yeah, so they all got very, very mad when that came about. And they all kind of said, you know what? We already knew that. Well, if you knew that, why the hell is there children in a home with somebody like that?
And that may be, why Malaya moved out and refused to speak to Daniel. At this point, probably she was keeping this a secret. And this can make people, depending on what was being used. Remember what Peter Hyatt's always said, the easiest way to cause harm to children is to neglect them. We've always wondered, what was really going on with Lilly and Jack. Malaya says that she went to bed. She says that she put Meadow down and she put Lilly and Jack down. She went to bed and she says that Daniel stayed up, that he was going to clean the house. But when she woke up, the house wasn't clean and she didn't know what he did. Daniel claims he went to bed first. And that Malaya put the kids down with Meadow afterward. But Daniel's also admitted to doing these types of medications. I'm watching my words. And he said he did everything and anything.
Like, why aren't you protecting the kids that way? So Malaya broke at the end of the driveway. She was crying and I was like, like, what's going on? And she wouldn't talk. And I looked at her and I said, now's the time to talk. Like, get fucking talking. Like, what's going on? And she broke down and that's what it came about, that he was doing meth. So
So this explains why she moved out so quickly, and probably authorities were concerned too. And this explains the big fight that was had on the property where they asked Malaya's family to leave. Because the last thing that somebody who's addicted to medications wants to do is be called out for it. But if you guys know anything about medications, you know that it can impair your abilities, and I'm really suspicious. I am really suspicious.
Fueled the family fight that there was. And I mean, yes, Dani or whatever her name was did go at Cheryl. Logan was trying to fight everybody in the driveway. They kicked us off the property because we found out something that nobody was supposed to find out, right?
We had been asking him questions about these allegations of drug use, and he responds essentially saying, look, he's got nothing to hide. He acknowledges he's done meth and other drugs in the past, but he doesn't.
And so for those of you that don't know, let me pull this up really quick. Meth has a really... This is... Let me pull this up. Okay, this is the National Institute of Health. Let me take this down for a second. Let me put this up. Okay. So this is a National Library of Medicine. Sorry. And they studied 131 homeless, substance dependent. They did a controlled substance, but they studied antisocial personality disorder and substance abuse. And I told you guys, one of the ways the reason, that a polygraph is helpful. It's good sign that you take it, but it doesn't mean anything. And again, nobody's been charged with anything. I'm not saying anybody did anything. But that, there is antisocial personality disorder is an access to personality disorder present in approximately 0.6% of the United States population, characterized by near constant pursuit of personal gratification. The pervasive disregard for the rights of others, often manifesting as the eschewal of social norms, deceit, aggression, and lack of empathy and remorse. It often manifests itself as aggressive childhood behavior and antecedent occurrence common to medication abuse. Watching my words here. The diagnosis of ASPD is associated with the use of illegal substances and alcohol. So I just want to go back now for a second because I do think that this is all connected. I just really do believe this is connected. And I want to go back to, let me go back to YouTube for a second. And I want to pull this up. Okay, I'm going to take this one down for a second. Let me put this up. All right. This is something that we talked about the other day. I want to go through this.
Pretty happy about that because it's been about 3 months.
Just the
So what do you make of the fact that they are bringing
the lack of empathy and the lack of remorse? Just think about that. Think about, what we've learned so far. Think about this pink blanket. Okay. The fact that Daniel is telling us himself that he's being interrogated by the RCMP.
cadaver dogs in?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy about that because it's been about 3 months. I've been asking for them, and it's just been delayed, I guess, till now. But
I just want to do a sound check. Can you guys hear Daniel okay? Just a quick sound check. Yes or no? And Jazz, can you hear Daniel Martell talking? Yes? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, I just didn't want to play it and then find out you guys couldn't hear it. Okay, so he's very happy that they're coming out. And you will notice that most everything that Daniel says during this is about Daniel and how this affects him.
I know things take time and dogs are hard to get.
So what does this say to you? Because, I mean, they are dogs searching for human remains.
Well, I know that it's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it. I even hope that they bring more than one dog if they have access to more than one dog.
Okay, so there is, in my opinion, a lack of empathy for the fact of what these dogs are coming in to search for, right? There is a lack of empathy here. He can only talk about this in terms of himself.
So what are you happy about? What do you hope this will bring?
I would just like to see maybe the social media speculation, theories, and accusations. Maybe they're not going to stop, but slow down.
So again, his concern is not, I hope that these dogs find out what happened to Lilly and Jack. That would be the empathetic answer. I hope we get some answers to find out what happened to these little ones. Nope. He's concerned about his own reputation and reputation building, and how I wish statement analyst Peter Hyatt was here to go through this. And for those of you that don't know, I'm taking a statement analysis class, a college credit course that I'm going to use because Peter has always said that he thought journalists should be studying statement analysis. I agree. So I'm in the process of taking that. But I just want you to think about all of these comments. You don't even need to be a statement analyst to go through this, but all of these comments and how they don't reflect his empathy for Lilly and Jack. They're all about how this reflects back on Daniel Martell. And then think about what I just shared with you about antisocial personality disorder. Remember, you can pass a polygraph if you don't get nervous. Who doesn't get nervous? And I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm just speculating.
Social media speculation, theories, and accusations, maybe they're not going to stop, but slow down, because at this point they're getting ridiculous.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything.
How did he know 100% the dogs would not find anything? How did he know that? There's no way you could know 100% the dogs weren't going to find anything unless you knew.
I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think we'll rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and
Where is the concern for Lilly and Jack? It'll rule a lot of things out. It'll rule out that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are working hard. You think that they need to prove to the public that they're working hard?
There's no human remains on the property.
There you go. There's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because
He's so sure. She could barely get his question out, and he's already doubling down. Nope. There's no way.
working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything.
And I don't like that laugh.
I know Malaya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything. Those are 3 people on the property. I mean, after the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the kids.
And we got that weird correction there. Any of the kids, and then the kids.
Why do you think that they're not possibly, like, why that they didn't possibly wander into the woods?
Well, with the amount of resources that were used, and I mean, for everything from drones to helicopters to classified technology and all the searchers on the ground. I mean, searchers on bicycles. They did everything. On the pipeline, they took in ATVs and Argos and side-by-sides. They used everything they could.
Tell me about, what do you make at this point of the investigation of what RCMP have been doing or not doing? What's your stance on all of that?
Well, I would like to go in for another whole round of polygraph exams. I mean, that would be, and maybe bring some new people in that are doing the polygraph exams. But I know they're hard at work. I've filled notebooks with just trying to help them find leads, or give them any kind of small detail, answer as many questions as I can, or, but I'm doing everything I can. I usually try to meet with them 3 times a week, and sometimes they're not around for that, or phone calls or texts, but whatever we can do.
So I guess to bring it back to the cadaver dogs, since you've been asking for it for so long, I guess, you don't have any information on how that will happen?
No, I don't even know where quite they're going to start searching, or where they're going to do. Are they going to expand out onto the properties? The property there is fairly small. It's only 2 acres. So
Again, no concern for Lilly and Jack. So let's just think about what we just talked about. This diagnosis of characteristics associated with antisocial personality disorder include a lack of motivation. Daniel only worked 1 day a week. The house could have used some work. He had 6 more days off to do some work around the house. Disruptiveness, impulsivity, a general disregard for others. I'm not hearing a lot of regard or concern for Lilly and Jack. I hear about him worried about himself, that maybe the speculation will stop. And I can understand that, but where's your empathy for Lilly and Jack? But, it does happen. The efficacy of substance abuse treatment for individuals with antisocial personality is likely linked with the kind of substance abuse treatment modality or intervention being applied. Antisocial personality disorder is often accompanied by striving for personal gratification. Striving for personal gratification. So let's go back to this together.
Struggle with them. And the way he explained it to us was he was attending Narcotics Anonymous essentially to clear his name.
What do you make of all of the speculation that's going on? So many people are waiting.
Well, I can already tell you the drug party is absolute bullshit.
Yep.
And I even asked the RCMP, give me drug tests. I asked CPS, give me drug tests.
Yep.
They said, no, it's not a concern. We're not going to do that. I even go to Narcotics Anonymous.
Okay.
I do everything. Like, I go to 3 times a week just to clear the air for all that bullshit.
So he only goes, according to him, to clear the air for all the BS, not because he needs it. He goes 3 times a week just to clear the air. You guys, I'm sorry, just doesn't make sense to me. It just really makes me worry for what was going on in the house with Lilly and Jack. We've heard that CPS was involved. We've heard that the kids were missing so many days of school. We were concerned that the kids were being neglected. There were reports that they were, coming to school and they, were dirty. They were not clean. They were not bathed. So all of this goes back to what Peter Hyatt said, which is one of the easiest ways to cause harm to a child is to neglect them.
I mean, even when it comes down to Jack and Lily, I'm the only one from both sides of the family that is actually doing anything. I'm doing media all the time. They probably refuse to do media with you guys, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they won't do anybody.
I'm the only one who's doing anything. Just a real sense of grandiosity there, which is also, really common with antisocial personality, narcissism. And I'm not saying he's a narcissist. I'm not saying he has antisocial personality disorder, but I'm concerned. I've seen some red flags that I'm concerned about. And I believe this pink blanket, which is what, according to Daniel Martell, he was brought back in to be interrogated about. I believe this is all linked together in whatever case the RCMP is building.
The longer this goes on, Brenda, how worried are you we may not get answers?
That leaves me sick to my stomach. I don't believe my grandchildren are alive. I have resigned myself to that one. But to not get answers, it's like, no. There's answers out there. 2 kids just don't disappear.
And she's right. 2 kids don't just disappear. They don't just disappear. A $150,000 reward is being offered by the province of Nova Scotia. Anyone with information regarding the case should call the Rewards for Major Unsolved Crimes program at 1-800-710-9010. That's 1-800-710-9090. And again, I want to give all credit to Hunter S. True Crime. Let's see if we can get Hunter S. True Crime up to 1,000 subscribers. Because I do think that they're doing really good work on this case. And I just do think that this all comes back to, in my opinion, Daniel Martell. So why is he getting reinvestigated? I think that is very, very telling. Do you think that this is going to come down to something similar to what we saw in the Dane Paulson case, where we had this child who drowned? And let me pull this up. And the father has now, but this should happen in every case, in my opinion. Anytime that a child goes missing and it's due to being neglected, I think that this should go right back to that. So according to we knew that the diver found Dane. This is the diver, but the father has now been charged. The father of Dane Paulson has been charged. And this is due with newly filed court documents. In fact, I have a statement from the police. Let me pull that up. Let me grab it. And I didn't cover Dane's disappearance on this channel. I did cover it on Facebook. So I do think that this is the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office making a statement here. So let me pull this up. Okay, so this is the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Oregon Post. They said in response to inquiries regarding the Paulson case. So this is for Dane's case. Let me move myself over here. All right. Am I blocking this? Yeah, I am. There we go. Okay, so in response to several community and media inquiries regarding the recent grand jury indictment of Aaron Paulson, the father of Dane Paulson, our office has the following statement to share. And I think this should happen in any case. It should have happened in the Summer Wells case, in my opinion. It should have happened in the Sebastian Rogers case, in my opinion. This should happen anytime a child disappears and And it's, this, in this case, there was no CPS case open. But I do think that the fact that they were able to do this and get a grand jury to indict, is compelling. In March of 2025, the disappearance and later recovery of Dane Paulson in the Sills River shook our community, first responder and searchers. As responders and community members, our hearts remain heavy with this tragedy. In collaboration with other local responders, community members, and agencies through Oregon and beyond, we work tirelessly to search the local area. In partnership with other law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, we conducted a criminal investigation congruent to the search efforts. So, unbeknownst to all of us, there was a criminal investigation going on into this case. Before his disappearance, Dane was reported to be playing out of sight in his yard. Evidence suggests he wandered down to the river, while evidence consistently pointed to the Silts River. 40 investigators continue to pursue leads by interviewing, investigating, and following up on community tips. Countless tips lead to investigative interviews, review of surveillance footage, and further investigation on possible leads. At the conclusion of this multi-agency investigation, evidence pointed to Dane being at the river's edge before falling in. An autopsy confirmed that his COD was drowning with no additional trauma to his body. Following the completion of the investigation, our office submitted the investigation and all evidence to the DA to review this case in its entirety. It is the standard for the Lincoln County DA's office to review all death investigations. On October 16th of 2025, DA Jenna Wallace presented this case before a Lincoln County grand jury. After hearing the evidence related to this case, a grand jury found sufficient evidence to present a true bill with a charge of child neglect in the second degree against Aaron Paulson. Aaron Paulson was subsequently indicted and released by the Lincoln County Sheriff's investigators due to the fact this is an ongoing case within their office. Any questions related to this matter should be directed to the DA's office. So that is the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office on Dane Paulson. And I think this is, what needs to happen. When you think that this is something related to neglect, not watching your child, I think this does need to happen. Let me know. Do you guys agree? Do you think this is the DA overreaching? Do you wish that more cases, in the Summer Wells case, her brothers were removed for the house, but no charges were ever brought, even though they found cause to remove the 3 boys from the care of Candace and Don Wells. No charges were ever brought against Candace or Don Wells for anything related to any of the 4 children, including Summer. What do you guys think? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree and you think that charges should be brought. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's an overreach. I'm just curious where you guys are at on this. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Let's check in with chat. Lori put a 1. Shelly put a 1. Holly put a 1. Thank you for modding today, Holly. Cassier's thinking. Just really curious where you guys are at on this. Is this the right thing to do? Is it an overreach? What do you think should happen in this case of Lilly and Jack? What do you guys think? And I want to say thank you to NJAZ for gifting a reporter room membership. That is so kind of you, NJAZ. If you got that reporter room membership, please make sure you say thank you to NJAZ. And then she gifted, oh my gosh, 5 reporter room memberships. If you got one of those, please make sure you say thank you. So I think that's so kind of you. Thank you very, very much. Let's see where you guys are on this. Shelly put a 1. Holly put a 1. Mary Ann put a 1. Shelly lives in Oregon. Tara put a 1. Briska says that neighbor was telling lots of lies about Daniel. Adrian put a 1. Lori said, cool. I used to see that sign every day when I rode the Max. Pretty sure he was in Share Live driving down the road, judging Daniel and his father. Sounds like the voice of Justin Smith. And Jazz is amazing, Lori says. Mariska, the thriller was at home and one got kicked out of his home, was lurking around, closed down the park. Albina Life says, case by case, 1. But if neglect is proven, definitely yes, let a court weigh that's right. And I think letting a grand jury decide, and then they still get a trial. All right. Well, I feel like we're, maybe on the same page like this. This is what I feel like too. I think that if there is a case where, neglect led to this, that, maybe we do need to start filing charges. This whole thing of what, there's a CPS case open in the Lilly and Jack case. And, maybe this just does come down to neglect and a cover up, right? And nobody's been charged with anything. Just want to say that. Nicole put a 1. Well, I'm really, really appreciate you guys taking time to share your thoughts on that, because I just wanted to see if, where you guys were at. Maybe we're on the same page, where maybe we're not. And it's okay. We don't all have to agree. I want to thank our executive producer, Njaz. Thank you so much for being an awesome executive producer, Njaz. Let me turn these off for a second. So thank you so much to Njaz for being executive producer. Thank you so much to our producers, Sasha Angel, George Brown, Michael L. Cole, and Christy Ballantyne. And thank you to all of our channel members. If you would like your name to appear just like this, please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me out a lot. But having your name appear like this means that you're a channel member, which does cost $2.99. You get your name like this in all of my live streams. We have members only polls and members only live streams together. And it does, and you also get a check mark by your name during all of the live streams. So that's nice too. And I do have quite a long playlist of members only live streams and videos if you want to go through those as well. And if you were fortunate enough to get a free channel membership today from Njaz, welcome to the Reporter Room family. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. And subscribing is absolutely free. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming by to spend a little bit of time with me. Nobody has been charged with anything. Daniel is innocent. He has not been indicted with anything. But it is interesting that according to Daniel Martell, he did get interrogated by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Let me know if you think that's significant in the comment section below. And consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. And it lets me know that you would like me to continue to cover this